us our clutch. And it gives us soul revival, cause mother, father, we trust you finally made our arrival. Still we're furious, but staying patient and calm, cause we know we're so blessed. Keep the faith and stay strong, we maintain no focus.
Then there's the Mende people, who have a very strong connection to Africans born in the United States. It's said that the Gula or the Geechee people of South Carolina share the language, rituals, and crafts of the people of Sierra Leone.
I don't understand why there's taking this offense to that. And then, again, you look and see to have a greater respect for womanhood is exactly what he said as well. Now, he didn't say that because he never said anything that didn't have an extreme meaning. He said it for a reason, and I would like to think that you and I are not experiencing that right now, that if we were to say, oh, because it's not a woman, it's not a matriarch, well, first of all, that's not true. And secondly, you would be exhibiting that you don't honor and respect that.
Islam Moors. Peace and love, peace and love. Gratitude for those who joined in on this lovely, happy holy day. Islam Moors. And what a lovely day it is, right? Yeah, I just wanted to come on here real quick to holler at y'all while I work on this new book. So I'm going to be working in the background. I'm not going to be here too long. I'm not going to keep y'all too long. It was just, I wanted to share some stuff, I guess, or ask some questions. If you can see the topic, I was trying to figure out the best way to put this. And I'm just like, why am I trying to figure out how to put what I know, what I want to say, or what I want to ask? And the question I actually want to ask is, Moorish men, where are your balls? Okay. I actually asked the Sheik this yesterday, right? Shout out to Grand Sheik Atazaz Bey for indulging my outburst yesterday during our meeting. But like I said, it's some stuff that's been pressing on my mind lately. And it's so serious. I felt the need to come on alive. So, Islam to everybody. Peace and love. Gratitude to the brothers, the Moorish men who actually put this on my mind, right? And I just been ruminating about it. So I'm just gonna ask, the inspiration for this question came from the Moorish men out there who have been asking kind of the same thing. They've been asking the same thing. And it's been ramping up lately, I've been noticing. Right? And it started out with, I'm trying to avoid saying names because I don't know if they want to be mentioned. But it started out with a well-known Moor getting on the other Moorish men's necks about being unmarried. I thought it was hilarious, right? And then he did it again and again and again. He keeps doing it. And he keeps bringing up how, at least in Al-Islam, marriage is half of your religion, right? And I grew up Al-Islam, so I feel some way about it, right? Because it's like, dang, no matter how good you do, you only did half as good as you could have done because you didn't do that part. It's like a rite of passage almost. I know it's a rite of passage, right? So, then the same more, it's like, where are our leaders? What are we doing, right? Here's all the opportunities we just sitting on. And it was really interesting. This Moor was talking about the opportunities Moors are not acting on, which he is. So good for you for speaking on something, asking, why are you not engaged in this as well, right? But he was going through like all the money allotted for a fiscal year of a certain area, right? And talking about all these grants. And I'm like, this is amazing. I just hopped in here just to see what he was talking about. This was yesterday, after getting out of the meeting with the same Grand Sheik that allowed me to just like emote all over him. And we were sitting there looking at grants, figuring out how to get this stuff. And I'm just like, Allah is the greatest. So I just got out of a meeting looking at how we can access resources. And you're asking, why aren't more Moors trying to access resources? There are no happenings. And then I heard his wife in the background. And this video went off. And he came back on, it replayed. And he's just sitting there with the biggest smile on his face. About I'm teaching my wife something. I'm just like, dang, what's up with this, right? So I'm tired of thinking about this. Thank you all for indulging me as well. As far as, yeah, where are your balls, right? Because it's kind of funny how it's Moorish men asking other men, why aren't you stepping up in certain areas? I absolutely love it. Thank you, right? That is yet another way the Moors are setting themselves apart from the misnomers that other people try to apply to us. All right. I'm going to use a YouTuber named Cynthia G as an example, if you aren't familiar with her. She is trying to get black women to divest from black men because they have no balls. All right. And by balls, I'm not being vulgar, right? I'm using that as a device. That's a bad way to put it. Anyway, I'm using it as a device, right? It's colloquially used to indicate a man's willingness to be a man, to be Aryan, like Martian, like the planet Mars, right? And they always talking about how somebody brought up a good point in one of her chats. Like, it wasn't that long ago where swirling was considered taboo. And now all of a sudden it's okay. And she's trying to get black women who consider themselves black, to be like, stop accepting what they're telling you because they're using you as the reason to justify their treachery. They're being traitors, right? Because it's like, no, they grew up in homes where that uncle wasn't allowed to come in their house because of who he was with. And now to justify what they know is, I don't know, wrong. I don't know. To justify what they think they're not supposed to be doing, they bad mouthing these quote unquote black women. So now they got all these coaches to let me show you how to be a woman. And Cynthia G is like, you don't need to do all that. They need to man up, or you need to go find a man in another nation, right? And but she don't say nation. She like another race or whatever. So and she was just like, a lot of her content, I don't want to make it too much about her, but I just find it interesting. A lot of her content is like, yeah, all these videos with these black dudes and these white women coming out, yeah, it's so much better being with her. Now they're starting to let out videos telling the truth. Like, to put it her way, you got the same black man that, you know, whatever. It wasn't the quote unquote black woman's fault. And the complaints they have is he won't provide. He won't protect. He won't build. What else? And he won't marry me. I'm just like, wow. And then let me look over here and see what the Moors are doing. Why aren't we building? Why aren't you married? You know, we need a militia. I'm just like, yeah. So Islam to those brothers, you know who you are, you know, for saying something. Because Miss Cynthia G, her thing is, stop trying with these men. You know, you can try to be like, I'll just wait for the right quote unquote black man, or I'll raise my son to be a good quote unquote black man so the next generation can have a chance. And she's like, don't even bother, because it's a matter of their culture, right? So how is it that these men are calling, quote unquote, black men are calling black women bottom of the barrel, and for some reason they don't equate that with their own mothers? And it's really messed up, because I should say with their only parent. It's like, dang, that's really, really messed up. And she was like, that's right there. The fact that they would demean and degrade the only one who stuck around to make sure they didn't have to go into the system. Their willingness to do that, it's a demonstration of their self-hate, right? And don't try to fix it, because even if that mother raises her son to respect women, like, look at this woman working. She's working her butt off being your mother and your father. And you should be honoring women. You would think it'd be like, dang, let me get one of these and help her not have to go through this by abandoning her with my children, right? That kind of thing. But she was like, forget about it. You can't do it, because yes, you did raise him that way. He was a good boy until he got out of your grips and went out into the world and started hanging out with other black men. It's just their culture. So they're teaching they're undoing all the work that the mothers are doing. That's her perception of it, right? And so she like, yeah, just go get you another man. You know, if you want a brown baby, go get with a Hindu. And I'm like, you fail to understand a couple things going on here, right? I don't know if she fails to or she just not acknowledging it. Where it's not about the skin color. It's about, do I want to go around those other grandparents? So yes, a Hindu can help me make a brown baby. Do I want to be sitting in the room while they're speaking Hindi and I can't understand a word they're saying? Nope. I actually know somebody who went through that. You know, she moved to India, everything. She's back here now. But anyway, this was a Latina sister, so-called Latina. Anyway, so yeah, that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to say thank you to the Moorish men who are asking, where are your balls, right? And you've been saying it a lot, and it seems to be ramping up. So I'm getting the impression you're feeling unheard. I hear you, and I agree, right? So maybe injecting a little femininity into it, yeah, because I'm real soft, right? But anyway, injecting a little, feminine perspective into it. Like, yeah, you're absolutely right, right? He was just going through the list. This more that I would mention his name. You probably know who I'm talking about anyway, but whatever. And thank you also, because I didn't consider going for local grants. So thank you for putting that idea in my head. So thank you to all the Moors who are out there asking these Moorish men to stand up. That was the other thing Miss Cynthia G was saying, that black men behaving the way they do, basically looking for another mommy, is kind of black women's fault. All right. She's kind of right. Because I have the feeling like, no, you know better, and you're taking advantage of a situation, right? Namely, you're taking advantage of your scarcity, right? Which is not cool. But she's saying, this is kind of black women's fault because they're not asking these men, where are your balls? Right? And apparently they were, which is why supposedly a lot of them have migrated over to, for lack of a better term, Becky, Ling Ling, and Maria. They're like, oh, she ain't gonna be asking me to do all this stuff. And now they're finding out, no, she's going to demand more because their men actually build stuff. They don't run away from the messed up communities. I'm not saying they did it, but they're not doing nothing to stop it, right? They don't run away like, let me go find a foreigner and go move into her father's community instead of fixing mine. And now she's like, so what you got? And now they don't know what to do. And if any quote unquote black women are listening, yeah, Moorish men, those are real men. All right, I'll just say it like that, because if they're not doing, they're trying. But be careful, because there's a lot of dirty Moors and filthy Negro skin running around. Or filthy Negroes and dirty Moor skin. I'll say that, because they out here scamming folks. So be careful. But for the most part, yeah, they want to get married. They don't want to shack up with you because they trying to build empires. Right? That kind of thing. So yeah, that was all I had. I need to get back to work because we got a turban book coming out. Thank you all for listening and indulging me. Maybe I'll be back later. But I'm going to leave y'all with my question. Moorish men. Oh, that's the other thing before I leave. I actually had some stuff written down. This is how much it was bothering me. So my thing was, and I'm going to get out of here. With this whole thing with Ukraine going on. I don't know if you heard the latest updates on what's getting ready to probably happen if Moorish men don't locate their balls. All right. So aren't you tired? This goes for all Moors. All of us, male, female, child, and adult. Aren't you tired of seeing others run their nations and ours? All right. And they're running their nation and ours straight into the ground. Think about it, right? When Hindus get, and this is where I went off on the Grand Sheik. Thank you so much. I can't begin to thank you enough because I know I was just like going off. But thank you. So when Hindus get sick of looking at everybody, the ones that live here, if they were born here, whatever, they've been here since the 1900s. When they get sick of looking at everybody, they want to see nothing but their people. they hop on Air India and go see nothing but their people. When the Chinese people are sick of seeing everybody, they don't want to see nothing but themselves, they hop on a plane, go back to China. Where do we get to do that? Aren't you sick of this? I'm tired of it, right? And the thing is, because I'm gonna put this on the women too. We women, enough women aren't asked, I guess because we still got that thing, I don't want to upset him, whatever. Enough of us aren't asking, so what you doing? Why are we still in this condition? I'm over here working. And it's funny, the European knows that the quote unquote black woman is the source of all this stuff, which is why he's trying to hurry up and buy her off. Who is that? I think I've mentioned it before. Goldman Sachs has pledged $1 billion to fund black female entrepreneurs. All you got to do is say that you're black and have a business going. How many quote unquote black women got thriving businesses that you know personally? Think about it, right? Thriving. Even their side hustle is thriving, right? And these Europeans are trying to be like, we better sharpen that. We're going to paint that sword green and put Franklin's face on it. All right. And what's the response from black men? Why won't they help us? Okay, so are you a man or are you a woman? Because men, in my experience, men don't provide for other men. That's not their job. Your job is to be a provider. You're asking for somebody else to provide for you. If you want to do that, do that. Start a nonprofit, or better yet, start a temple and go after our stuff. Go get our stuff. All right. Ladies, lady means she who makes the bread. All right. The lady in charge of the woman in charge of the bread. All right. It means bread like the kind you eat, but whatever. So ask him, where's my stuff, right? I've read before where strong nations are built by pushy, educated mothers. Think of all the nations where the women are oppressed, and how are they doing? You can pretty much look at all the Wahhabi nations. I'm not going to insult the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, by calling them Al-Islam, because even he said they'll be the last ones to understand what I brought. All right. So the ones who are practicing Wahhabism that say my daughter can't go to school, what's the condition of their lands? All right. But anyway, my suggestion is add to our numbers. Start with that, right? If you're sick of this, I'm gonna get to the thing on who is that? Ukraine in a second. Why this is so important. Please add to our numbers so we can go ahead and make this a breakfast fight. We really don't need that many people, because it's one of those things where, like, you know how when you start a trickle in a hose, eventually it'll just start flowing on its own. It's one of those things, right? No pressure, no excuses, just add yourself. If you have talents, bring them. But right now, just add yourself. Call yourself a Moor. I'm not even saying join anything. Just stop calling yourself black. Call yourself a Moor and find out what that means. To quote Taj Tariq Bey, once you know who you are, you know who they are, and you know how to deal with them accordingly. And by them, I mean everybody else. The rest of the human family. And then everything else will be added anyway. This really will be a breakfast fight. So the whole balls thing, I bring that up. It's really been on me because if you've been keeping up with the news, and I'm about to wrap this up, Russia is saying Ukraine is about to launch some bomb or whatever. They're getting ready to blow up a part of Ukraine that's occupied by mostly Russians, right? Even though they're all Slavs. But anyway, so if you're wondering why he hasn't just wiped them out yet, it's because he recognizes them as his own people. But anyway, so all these people are trying to evacuate that area. And they're like, well, all the countries around Europe, they've taken in as many of these people as they can. During, back in March when they first invaded and everybody left. They're like, we can't take no more. So where are all the rest of these people that didn't leave? Where they about to go? And here comes some pink person looking like raw chicken up in something behind some pedestal. Got a tie on, to out. We're making plans to start bringing them over here. And I'll leave y'all with that. So ladies or gentlemen, locate your balls And ladies, ask them if they found them yet. And with that, Islam, y'all be cool and just enjoy the rest of your holy day. And let's do this. This is not even hard. It's really not. Right? It's really not. But let me stop because I can keep going. So y'all be cool and I'm out. Peace. How I end this thing? Here we go with this again. Yeah.